भजन हरे कृष्णा प्रभु से मल्टी दंडवत प्रणाम humble obeisances. Let's do a bhajan. Agre Guruna Atha Pandavana Dushasanena Kratavastra Krishna Krodashananyanatha Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Agre Guru Namatha Pandavanam Agre Guru Namatha Pandavanam Dushasanena Savastra Krishna Dada Krodashananyanatha Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. 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 Krishna Vishnu Madhukaita Bhare Krishna Vishnu Madhukaita Bhare Bhaktanupambin Bhagavan Murare Sayasvamam Keshavalokanatha Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Guru Kare Govinda
Until that comes up, let's read the translation of these four verses that we sang. Before the assembled Kurus and Pandavas, when Dushasana caught her hair and clothing, Krishna, Draupadi, having no other lord, cried out, Govinda, Damodara, Madhva. O Lord Krishna, Vishnu, enemy of the Madhu and Madhva demons, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, enemy of Mura, merciful upon the devotees, O Keshava, Lord of the worlds, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava, please deliver me. This is my favorite verse. Though desiring to sell milk, dahi, butter, etc., the mind of a young gopi was so absorbed in the lotus feet of Krishna that instead of calling out milk for sale, she bewilderedly said, Govinda, Damodara and Madhava. They are grinding mortars full of grains. The gopis' minds are overcome as they thresh with their vessels, singing Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. So it's a very big bhajan, almost more than 71 verses. We took the first four of them.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji is not a standard now. I don't have, I guess, not have any qualifications to sit here. Been ordered by His Grace Vinod Prabhu and Ananda Mataji to take class today. And just like a housefly, for a time being sits on a seat, I'm sitting here, so my own sitting. So we ask permissions from all the senior Vaishnavas here to bless us and forgive our mistakes, if any. So please bless us with your prayers. Thank you. Let's begin our Mangalacharna prayers. Om Ajnanviramdhasya Ajnananjanachalakhaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta-pada-kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishwakamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। प्लीज रिपीट आफ्टर मी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 Let's start the verses. Let's sing together. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्णिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरद्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गोब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिधि नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुलं भेदे गिरिं यत्प्रार्थनामन्ये श्री गुरुनिरकारणं श्री परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्येश्वरम्। ओम पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थानतोऽपि वा स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं सभाभ्यामुनिन्दरं शुचिः। श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु श्री विष्णु। Hare Krishna. Please, Mataji, thank you very much for coming on a busy Sunday evening to the Bhakti Center to listen to this course. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam, Shri Guru Prabhu. Dandavat pranam, Kinchen Prabhu. Dandavat pranam, Pran Prabhu. Dandavat pranam, Sabara Prabhu. Dandavat pranam to all Matajis. Dandavat Mataji. Dandavat pranam, Radha Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all of you. Please bless us and pray for us. Anybody remember what is the topic we have spoken last week? Main topic.
So,
Different
three modes of
three modes of meditation. Very good. Yes. So we thought of a topic. He asked us to do any topic, but we took a topic that is extension of that.
That's a use case of last
Yes,
class.
it's a theory and today's practicals of use cases of that. How to, in practice, utilize three modes to achieve the ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal for us? Haribol. Yes, Haribol is the ultimate goal. Yes. So we took a topic of talking about Grihastha life. Now, we were thinking what to do, and this came to our mind. The title we thought of keeping ideal Grihastha life, but we are far from ideal. So we thought let's put a middle ground topic like hassle-free, easy Grihastha life. How we can achieve that today?
How many of you are Grihasthas here?
Very good. Two hands.
So does that mean that who is the one who is not Grihastha doesn't have any takeaway from today's class, because if you remember, last week Leelanand Prabhuji asked a question. Why do we need to? How does the knowledge of three modes of material nature help us? Why do we need it? Anybody remembers his answer, Prabhuji's answer? So, the whole purpose of knowing the knowledge of three modes of material nature, Prabhuji said, is to know how to respect others. Devotees, non-devotees, doesn't matter. How to respect others. So, hassle-free Grihastha life is a very strong use case of how to deal with relationships. That's the overall topic, and everything that comes handy to make the Grihastha life hassle-free will actually come handy to make any relationship hassle-free. And that's all we need in life, right? Like His Grace Radhesham Prabhuji says, all we need is eco-friendly environment and ego-friendly relationships. His point is, right? So this is about really hassle-free relationships, but to make it fun along with being knowledgeable, we have chosen a use case of Grihastha life.
So, we have been learning scriptures for a long time. All of you know Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So, one more thing we want to make this very interactive. A lot of questions. So, there's a mic around. I would like you to tell me some of the ideal Grihastha couples from scriptures. Anyone? Some of the examples of ideal Grihastha. Very well, very well. One more? Some more? Some more? There are a lot of them. We learn every day from them. Three Maharshi Anasuya, yes, Mataji, correct. Any more? Pandavas and Draupadi, Hari Ol. More? Devaki Vasudeva. But they didn't have that much of Grihastha life. Yeah, they came back to Krishna, but there are more where we learn Grihastha life about Grihastha life, specifically in Bhagavatam. Vidura? Vidura. To learn Grihastha life from Vidura. I don't think so. Any more? Rama, Lord Rama and Sita, very good. Okay. Yes, Aditya and Kashyap Muni, correct. Devahuti and Kardam Muni, we learn a lot from them. Ambarish Maharaj, how to lead a Grihastha life, how to do the rituals and how to take care of Brahmanas and other people. Draupadi and Pandavas, I work to Mataji, Sitama and Lord Rama, and Lord Krishna himself, with his 16,108 wives, where he took care of kids, his sons, his grandsons, everyone, right? So, yeah, these are the ideal Grihasthas that taught us a lot in the scriptures. And specifically, in the 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj story, one complete chapter dedicated for ideal family life. If you remember, we're not going to read it now, but at the end we'll read the introduction of that. 7th canto, discussion between Narada Muni and Yudhishthira Maharaj, where he asks about this, and the whole chapter is dedicated for ideal personal life, ideal family life. And of course, 8th canto, discussion between Aditya and Kashyap Mahamuni is also a very good reference for us. Yeah, these are all the pictures I kind of gathered up. So now, let's look deep into Grihasthashram and what are the lessons we can learn practically for having a hassle-free life. So Grihasthashram is like a lab, right? All the scriptures, the thing that we learn are theory, right? We know that we are reading about Aditi, Kashyap Muni, Kardam Muni, Devahuti. We read a lot of theory, but Grihasthashram is the place we really experience those, right? With each other, wife and husband, especially the most famous verse from Shikshashtakam, Krishna, is most practically applied and tried to apply in Grihastha.
In the other ashrams, why it is in a lab we experiment actually and prove the theory, right? That's where the lab is. And you may wonder why Brahmachari ashram and Sannyasa ashram is not such a place. They are also learning. But in Brahmachari ashram, everybody is nice to you. In the Sannyasa ashram, everybody is nice to you. Right? When everybody is so nice to you, do you get to actually practice Grihastha Smichana? But welcome to Grihastha ashram, what happens? Right? So it's a lab. Her Grace Nitai Sevali Mataji calls it a lab where you actually get to experiment all the theories that you learn in the scriptures. And this ashram is a provider ashram for the rest of the ashrams. Right? We have heard from His Grace Leelanand Prabhuji multiple times. One pair of Grihastha devotees can actually provide for dozens or so of Sannyas Maharaj and devotees from other ashrams, right? So this is the provider ashram for the rest of the ashrams. So this becomes the foundation. This becomes the foundation of all the ashrams. And let's not forget, the future devotees are coming from this ashram alone. Right? If the devotional service has to continue under generation after generation, where is the generation coming from? So this is really a very strong foundational ashram of all the ashrams.
So Grihastha ashram, the way we want to, actually this is a lecture from Nitai Sevali Mataji, and it's a series of lectures actually, and we took one part of that, and she defines she takes the acronym of Grihastha, going by G, R, I, H like that. Similarly, we'll go each letter and take lessons from it. So the first letter, G, is for goal, right? What is the biggest problem of Grihastha? What's the biggest problem of Grihastha? Maybe there are many problems, but maybe one you can tell. No common goal between life and husband. Anything else? Very important problem. Whenever you ask somebody, they will say that immediately. Communication problem, yes. Communication problem. Coordination is not there between them. Any other problems? Subara Prabhu? Any Grihastha that we are experiencing? High expectations. Very good. Okay. Any other problems? Ego problem. Yes. Yes.
This is the hint.
Time problem.
No time. No time to do anything. To ask anybody, busy. Busy what? We don't know. We don't have time. We don't have time for doing anything. Right? That's the biggest problem of Grihastha ashram. Yes, all of the other problems, biggest problem is time. Lack of time. The second biggest problem is clueless. People who enter Grihastha ashram, they don't have a goal. Whether this is applicable equally to people in KC and people in office as well. We see many people coming and joining offices, they have no clue what to do. There is no goal. That's why corporate culture specifically makes them write goals for a year, for a month, for 6 months like that. When Grihastha ashram, everyone who is entering Grihastha ashram should have a goal. Right? It can be any goal, but you should have some goal. For example, you go to a grocery shop like Atnadi. You go and you're frivolously running around the aisles trying to do something. You don't have a list. You don't know what to pick also. Even if that person helping sales girl comes and says, what do you want, sir? If you don't know what you want, can anybody help you? No, nobody can help you. You are just wasting time there. Right? Even just like that, even if a guru comes to your life, when you don't have a goal and asks what you want, if you don't know what you want, he cannot help you too. So having a goal is very, very important. Right? It can be as simple goal as I want to live a sinful life. I want to be good to everyone. I don't want to do any mistakes. Or sinful. I don't want to cause harm to anybody. I am a reasonably pious person. That's also a good goal. At least that goal, at some point of time, after some days, will take you to Krishna consciousness. So having a goal is very important. A lot of people in Grihasthashram, they don't have any goals to start with. So they're like just clueless, they're running around. Right?
Yeah, so actually, a goal is also knowing what we want. It is nothing but actually knowing what we want. Goal is a big word, but if we just know what we want in life, that itself becomes the goal. That's what we meant by saying, the goal actually. And then what happens? Seemingly there is a goal, but we keep getting distracted and more in this ashram. Very simple example is we say in the morning we listen to a very nice lecture from Maharaj, Prabhupada, a lot of good lectures are there. So we listen to them. And then in the afternoon, say we go to a housewarming function. And we see somebody's house and our whole goal changes, right? Like, I should get this for my home, I didn't think of this for my kitchen cabinet, and a lot of things. Just in the morning, you began the day right? 16 rounds happened, good lecture happened, everything happened. But distractions are plenty, right? It's a very simple example, but we keep getting, if we are aware of how many times we get confused and move away from, get distracted from the main, what we want, it happens every hour that way. In this ashram more than anybody else's ashram. Brahmachari's ashram, Brahmachari Prabhuji sir here, they have a very nice set of goals for the day. They go through and every activity will involve some Krishna consciousness in it or not. In this Grihastha ashram, it cannot be guaranteed. Our very act of getting ready and going to office, it's very hard to keep it Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious activity. We all know that, at least for me.
I am saying here, everyone has 3 lives. Anybody knows what are those 3 lives? Mother, yeah, brother. Hari Bol, Mother, 3 love Hari Bols. Yes. We have a public life, private life, and a secret life that only Krishna knows. We have a public face. When we go out, that's what we show to everyone. We say thank you very much, sorry, and all that stuff. Private life at home, very angry. No sorry, no thank you. And the secret life, that we only know what we are doing, and only Paramatma, Krishna knows. Right? And biggest problem is there is no correlation between these. You are somebody else outside, somebody else inside the house, and somebody else inside your heart. And what do? You get frustrated, you have mask and the mask and mask, put different masks, sometimes mask over mask. Right? That's the biggest problem.
Yeah. So, it's like, Mataji says, it's like, this is how it is. For most part, it's very by design, this kind of a life. We enter into it without knowing what we want out of it, and then there is no plan to exit, right? It's like Abhimanyu entering into the Chakravyuh. He knew how to enter, he didn't know how to get out. There is, all scriptural injunctions do indicate that while entering itself, we should have a plan for it. The very chapter that we refer to, that's in the 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj, actually talks about in with what consciousness we should enter, and while entering itself there should be a criteria for exit. While it sounds very like an extreme case for somebody who has not read the scriptures or anything, it is true that we should know the entry and the exit criteria. And yeah, so His Holiness Raghunath Swami Maharaj also gives an example that to conduct ourselves properly in Grihastha Ashram, it is like following the traffic rules. When it is red, you should stop. When it is yellow, you should be watchful and careful. And when it is green, you can go ahead, right? If we follow in every situation these three things, he says that it will be smooth Grihastha life. But then the whole problem comes, we don't even recognize those traffic signals. We don't know it is red and we try to go ahead, right? And rest of the slides is all about recognizing that green, red and yellow. That's all. According to the time, place, circumstance. And while we do that, it is absolutely relatable to anybody else and for any other relationship.
So that's exactly what all the ideal Grihasthas we talked in the previous slide have done. They have planned out an exit. They have planned a Grihastha ashram. They know when to exit it. Right? Prabhupada often quotes in all the purports 55. 55 is the age to retire. And then exit out, remove all attachments and do peaceful chanting and serve. That's what he says. So we all need to have a goal and a plan. Very important. So goals have to be both spiritual and materialistic. Why? Because Sarira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. You have to have good health to do any activity. You should be very stable in your finances, to be stable while doing chanting. So it's a good balance of spiritual goals and material goals. Cannot be extreme in one end, right, and not do the others. It's very important to have a stable income that can serve your family, send your kids to school, and then you can have a stable place to sit and then chant peacefully, right? So health and finances are very, very important. We should never ignore those things. So, to give an example of how your inside and outside are different, how you should make sure that your inside aligns with your outside. There's a wonderful story told by Nikasaji Mataji. There is this wonderful devotee called Kanakadasa. Kanakadasa is from Karnataka, and he's from a low family, low caste family. Vyasaraj is his guru, and his guru loved him a lot because of his sincerity and his devotion. And other disciples didn't like him much. Why is my guru liking him? He's from a low caste and all that. So Guru wanted to teach them a lesson. So he asked all the disciples to come and gave him pots, vessels. He said, go clean all these vessels nicely and come back. And I will watch who is the one who did it the best. So all the disciples went and brought these brass vessels, apparently, and very nicely cleaned them outside. They are very nicely shining and they are like spotless. And Kanakadasa also got his vessel, but his vessel is not that shiny and spotless. But his Guru Vyasaraj has hugged him and said, "This is a beautiful vessel you got." Everybody is confused. And all the disciples are saying that, "Why are you saying that? Our vessels are so shiny." But his Guru said, "Look at the inside of the vessel. It's very clean. That's what is important," he said. The inside has to be clean and aligned with your goal. Right? So, that's what's very, very important.
Yeah, so the goal has to be there and plan has to be there to execute the goal. We say failing to plan is planning to fail. Right? We have to plan everything, including spiritual and material life. And the plan has to be fixed. What we want in life cannot change every single day. If that happens, no execution can really help us achieve the goal. So it has to be a fixed goal. Now the example of Kanakadasa gave us the goal that it's not just exterior, it's the interior also that needs to be cleansed. Now, the execution path to reach the goal has to depend on the time, place, and circumstance. There is one story where Srila Prabhupada actually he used to do this walking in the morning on the beach, right, in Juhu. And first day he saw, and lot of big businessmen also used to come for walking on the beach. And he met them and he greeted them good morning. Like three big businessmen. He saw them walking in the opposite direction, and Prabhupada greeted them with good morning. And Prabhupada's disciples were very puzzled. Why did he say Hare Krishna? The other people also could have said Hare Krishna, no? They just kept quiet. They didn't ask. They asked.
Prabhupada didn't answer.
They asked and Prabhupada didn't answer. Next day, he was on his walk as usual, and the businessmen were also coming. They actually greeted Prabhupada first with Hare Krishna. Right? So, Prabhupada here, his plan is different. His goal hasn't changed. To bring people to Krishna consciousness, that goal hasn't changed. But the way he executes is really different depending on the kind of situation he is in. So that situational awareness is there. Right? So having a plan, having a clear-cut goal and having it fixed, and having the ability to mold the execution plan according to the situation are very important. So let's ask a question. Is there anything, any of you believe that there is anything called 100% satisfaction? Right? If there is one thing that we all know, there is nothing like 100% satisfaction in life. Every phase in life, every day in fact, has its unique challenges. Let's say phase of life. This is a classic example. We hear in many lectures how people postpone devotional service, taking to devotional service, saying that I'll do it once I'm done with my graduation. I'll do it once I get a job. I'll do it once I get married, and it goes on and on and on. It's a cycle. It repeats itself, right? So every phase of life brings a unique challenge. So
Yeah, it is like lot of people, right, when they have newly born kids, they say, they deal with them day in, day out, right, 24/7. But like the relatives or some friends come and they want to play with the small kid. This is 1 hour job, right? They'll come and say, oh, your kid is cute, nice, and then go away after some time. But only the couple knows what they have to endure throughout the day and throughout the week, throughout the months together. So it is like this, right? The experience that you get when you live in a city versus like you go stay for 3 days is completely different. So it's like that. Grosasama is like that, right? You have to, when you live in life in a city or in a town, you know that you have to get groceries, you have to, pay your bills, you have to earn. They are different. And compared to when you go to a city for a vacation and you just stay for 2 days, that there is no endurance there, right? Just like that, Grosasama also has different phases and the long running phases. And when you enter, probably you are newly married, it's a different phase. When you have small kids, it's a different phase. Kids growing up, become teenagers, different phase, different problems. Kids get married, daughter-in-law comes, daughter-in-law problems, right? When you get older, health issues. Like in Grihastha life also there are a lot of problems. There is never 100% satisfaction. That is for sure, right? You have to deal with it. And as it says, you should always keep a divine couple between the couple, right? That is very important. You should have God-centric, Lord Krishna-centric family always. And that is the only way that can really help. Right? There are unique challenges in every phase. You cannot say, oh, you are blessed you only have small kids. No. People, grihasthas with elder kids have different kinds of problems. Grihasthas with kids who are married have different kinds of problems. There are different challenges. And after they get married and go away, then all it is left is you and your husband or wife, right? You have only each other. It's very important to have a good relation, good understanding between the wife and husband. It's very important.
So in fact, the very fact that I am sitting here is such an example. So we were talking from morning ever since Prabhuji asked us to, we asked him to talk about a topic. We have been discussing what to do, what topic to discuss on, right? And in the end, what happened? We discussed for 5 to 6 hours. I'm cooking and talking to him. He is actually in the kitchen all the time. But finally, he said, you know what? Let's do it together because we have prepared together. I was just supposed to assist him while preparation, but it sort of ended up. So this is a live example of a grihastha where I'm the least qualified to sit here, but then I really want to assist him. I want to be of some use, and if he thinks that it would help, then I want to be there. We have a lot of examples in the. Okay, so this is a very nice statement that we found from Mataji's lecture, right? There is finally ultimate goal is to have a vertical relationship with Krishna, but then that is not going to be possible, especially in Grihasthashram, without having stronger horizontal relationships with spouses and family. So unless we have a strong horizontal relationship, it is not going to be possible for us to have that vertical final, that is the goal, final vertical relationship with Lord Krishna, and that is not going to be possible. So this sums up the G of Grihasthashram. So we learned that G stands for goal first of all, and we have to have a plan for, we have to have the goal first of all, and have a plan to execute it, and execution of the goal has to take into consideration the situation we are in. We cannot, what works for one may not work for the other. These are the 3 big takeaways, and there is no end to this. There is no such thing as I reached my goal. It is an ongoing thing. Challenges will keep on coming, but then goal remains the same and you keep at it. So next comes R.
R stands for being respectful to each other. Right? It's very important that you are respectful to each other. Because when a marriage happens, the girl comes from a different background. The family, the values, the way she's brought up is different than the boy. He comes with a different kind of baggage. He has his own life. He has lived 20 years with his parents. He has grown a different way and culture. They have grown likes and dislikes. Right? The both come together with different kinds of backgrounds. Right? Just like when you buy a new phone, what do? You put the new phone, old phone together, put a cable into the data transfer. And data transfer takes time, right? It's not fast. And you cannot disturb in the middle. It says very clearly, don't disconnect, don't stop, anything like that. So marriage is like that. You have 2 phones, data transfer is happening from one to other. Because the old data needs to transfer to the new phone. And it has to be done very carefully. Right? It's also like a nursery, right? You put up a seed, a sapling comes, and carefully they take it and put in a bigger container. They'll water it only little, and they make sure there is no more water. They'll make sure there will be enough sunlight so that it grows healthy. Right? It's again same thing like that. The marriage, when they come together, it's a very delicate balance and of nurture. It requires lots of care and affection. Right? Don't expect that they have to be like you. They should like your likes. Period. They are not like you. Their desires, their likes, what they want in life, how they came up to this point are completely different. In fact, it's boring, right? If you are the same liking. You like chapati, I like chapati. You like aloo, I like. It's very boring. You should be like different kind of complementary things so you can have a good meal. Otherwise, you eat the same thing every day, right? It's like that.
And being complementary makes it very interesting. And It's also, if we think it that differences are only going to make it interesting, if we think that way, it is actually going to keep us happier than the way if we think that differences are very hard, we have to be exactly thinking and liking the same things, all those things, right? It's all of you know this. And Oscar Wilde's very much.
So, Oscar Wilde is a very famous poet and has lived a very good life. At some point of time, somehow he had to be taken to a jail. There is a big story, I'm not going to go on that, but he was taken to a jail and something happened. And everybody on the way were ridiculing him, saying a lot of things that hurt him. And he was going and he was very, very sad about it. Just one gentleman on the way, very old gentleman, because of all the works he has done so far, remembering his poems, did a small gesture. He took his hat and then bowed to him. And that small gesture of that old person really kept Oscar Wilde, in a good state of mind throughout his jail stay. And then after coming back, he started writing again just because of a small gesture. So sometimes when you are going through tough times, small micro, gestures will really help a lot, right? That's really very important to have that strong bond and then support from loved ones. That's very, very important. There's a recent movie called A Million Miles Away. I don't know how many people watch it. It's about a Mexican coming to America as a migrant worker. In 60s, it is like this. They used to have migrant workers cross the border to come pick the food, like pluck the tomatoes and grapes and all this stuff. And it was a tough life for them. His dad, a boy, the story of a boy, whose parents used to cross the border, come and help, and get some wages, very meager wages. Because of that, this kid was never in one school. He used to come this side to America and join a school for some time. He used to go back. And one of his teachers observes it and says, you cannot go back and forth like this. He's a very good student and you're spoiling his education. But the dad says, we have to do this, for our livelihood and to build a house in our village. And the teacher persuades him, says, don't do that, for his sake. Somehow they sacrifice everything for that boy and they join him in a school. And he had this wild dream of being an astronaut. He wants to be an astronaut. And he does his engineering. Then he applies to NASA. 11 times he applies and all 11 times he's rejected. All the times. And he has his dream throughout his life and he gets married. And even after that he was pursuing that and he was little worried that he's always thinking about the dream. His wife is not happy with him, that he's always thinking about me. Right? He's always, it happens that in a family that a husband has a goal and he wants to pursue it at any cost. He's always thinking about it and sometimes wife might support, might not support. In this case, in the beginning, she thinks he's crazy. That's why he doesn't tell. But somehow, she asks and he tells that I want to become an astronaut. And he tries for 11 times and fails. And she helps him, in that goal. And he asks, what is the difference between you and other applicants? Just make sure that there is a difference between you and other applicants. So they go through all what are the qualifications for an applicant. So he checks that each of the applicants that are going to NASA, they're pilots, they're divers, they're engineers. There are so many things that they can do. All that is a portfolio that the NASA is looking for. So this guy puts in effort to become a pilot. He gets the pilot license. He becomes a diver. He becomes an athlete. He does so many things, and finally his wife says, "This is your last chance. You should go to NASA and apply in person." So he runs there, to NASA in Cape Kennedy, and then applies in person. That person asks, why did you come all the way? You could have posted it. You already rejected 11 times. He says no, and then he asks, what is that is special for you? Why should we take you? He tells all these things, all because of his wife's support, right? Without that, and the wife also had a dream which he ignores in the beginning, right? She wanted to start a restaurant, but then later on, when he was contemplating on that, he recognizes that the wife also has a dream, and he helps her to open a restaurant. So why I'm telling you is a story of a movie, but what I'm telling here is the wife and husband should support each other in their goals. Of course, these materialistic goals, but even spiritual goals, they should be amicable to each other, help each other in their goals, encourage each other. Very, very important. Otherwise, it's very difficult in the house.
Yeah. Small gesture can help in tough situation. I just had a small example. I was participating in a music competition. I had prepared for it like from 2 to 3 months, and just the day before, I fell sick with a lot of cold and cough. The cough wouldn't even stop for even 5 minutes, and I was very sure that I won't be able to sing. But somehow I ate a lot of Brix chocolate, but the cold was very, very much there. My mother's younger sister was there. She was the teacher in that school in which the inter-school competition was happening. And she came and said, when somebody has cold, their voice in the mic sounds sweeter than the actual ones. She's complete lie. But I was in 7th grade, I think. I really totally believed her, right? Oh, this is good only that I have so much cold. In the nutshell, I didn't win any prize, but I saved myself. That one small thing that she said saved me from a lot of torment I was going through, sitting for my turn, waiting for my turn, right? I knew my turn would come, I would go there, I would mess up, I would come in the middle. Like really, I was really not looking forward to going there. I couldn't run away, but somehow, the thing of just going there and doing the part was there. I always think back and ask her also, why did you do this to me? It was a lie, isn't it? She said, yes, it was a lie, but I saw you go through so much of tension. I wanted to save you. So a lot of times we see other people in the family go through tough time. Even if it is not very true, even you don't know what happened, even you are as clueless as the person who is going through. Say one of the spouses is looking for a job and not finding. Even you are not in a position to actually guarantee that the job will be found. But just a small thing saying that you will find it will happen. Let the economy get better or something like that. It will go a long way. Same thing with in-laws and both the daughter-in-law and mother-in-law. All of us have our bad days. All of us have our tough times. And when we know that the other person is going through tough time, we can actually show some small appreciation, some small nice thing to say about them. Whether you mean it or not is a totally different thing. That will go a very long way.
Yeah, that's true. If you keep things in order every day, that will really help in the bad day when it comes. So both of them helping each other. So there is a story. The boss has a beach house and he wanted to hire a servant. And he tried, he didn't get anybody. One person came and he said, I will work for you, but because yes, we are in a beach. When it storms, I will not work, he said. At the beginning, this guy said, okay, fine, somebody is coming, at least let him work, and he put him in work. And after a few months, suddenly a storm came. And in the evening, 8 o'clock, storm started, and this boss was very nervous and anxious. He went and started banging the door of servant quarters. Hey, come out, you need to help. The storm is coming. And the servant opened the door and said, remember my condition? I said, I won't work on a storm day, so I'm not working today. This guy was, really mad at that servant. And he said, okay, fine, I'll go do myself. And he went to the barn. He wanted to make sure everything is in order. He saw all the horses are neatly tied to the stables. And then he went to garage. All the tools are neatly kept. All the cattle and everything is tied. He went to some other place. Everything is neatly kept. I was so surprised. So what this servant was doing is every day he is doing things properly in order. There is no chaos there. So even if storm comes, everything is taken care. Just like in Grihastha life, if you are taking care of things every day nicely, when a bad day comes, right, you won't be affected by that. Right? So you should just keep that in mind. So we're talking more about respect now. We're in the R, right? There are more things to talk about. Expectations.
So in SSR, Kiran gives this example, all of us know who have attended. There is a divorce case that has happened in some country, I don't know whether it is India or abroad. The reason was husband was pressing the toothpaste from top and wife was pressing the toothpaste from bottom. And that was the reason they decided to just go for divorce. What it means is when two people actually marry each other, the goal was not to maintain a perfect toothpaste in the house, right? That's not the goal. There was a higher goal. And during the course of daily life, they sort of forgot the bigger goal and sort of trying to get mad at each other for silliest of stuff. That's what started happening. That's the reason it's very important to have reasonable expectations, Mataji says. And yeah, and
Now about expectations, I want to tell one story. Mataji said in her lecture, she counsels so many Rosas by the way, and especially from Hyderabad Muslims, and there was a couple that came to her and they came to complain about each other. The Prabhuji, Mataji says, my Prabhuji never keeps wet towels dry outside, just throws them on the floor. I don't like it. And the Prabhuji said, Mataji, when after coming out of the bath, she takes the bindi, puts it in the mirror, and again, I think a lot of people have the habit of putting it on the mirror and then again coming up and using it the same way, and that leaves a glue mark. Remember anybody? And this house, the mirror is full of this glue marks, and he doesn't like that. Because he can't see his face, and he complained that Mataji, this is the thing she does, and I can't see the mirror. So Mataji listened to it and all that stuff, and she's counseling them. One sudden day, the Prabhuji comes and says, Mataji, my wife is diagnosed with cancer, stage 4, and within a few weeks or months maybe, wife died. So Prabhuji went to Vizag to talk to Nafeli Mataji and her husband, Prabhuji, and he was very sad, and what he said really moved her, and she got tears into her eyes. He said, Mataji, I'm missing her so much. You know what I'm doing these days? I'm buying bindi packets and putting on the mirror and taking them off. Okay? So the value of a person only you will know when the person is not there with you. The small differences like this should really not matter, and you should have that compassion and that they're coming from a different background. Small things doesn't matter. As Suma said, ultimate goal is to go back to Krishna. And everything else is in the middle. So you cannot compare also. There are a lot of comparisons that happen. Look at that Prabhuji, he's taking care of the kids so well. He drops them to school every day on time. He does help in cooking. He cuts vegetables so nicely. You don't do anything. And similarly, Mataji's, Prabhuji's compare Mataji's to other Mataji's too. That Mataji cooks so well, actually you don't know how to cook, things like that, right? Those really don't help in the long run. Right? Everybody has their strengths. You never know what the other Prabhuji cannot do, what this Mataji cannot do, what you can do, right? What Mataji can do. So the comparison is also not very good. And you should have very good communications. Sometimes yes, there are gaps in communications and all that stuff, but you should know what each other are doing. The example says, whenever somebody comes or guests come, the husband looks at the wife once, that's all, and she brings some pakoras or some water, because they have the communication. They know that when guests come, how to serve, that they don't need to talk to each other. So that subtle communications will really help.
yeah. So on the communication front, especially I find this on the in-law side. So every day I come from office and I make it a point to sit down with my mother-in-law and talk about the television serials. The reason is that's the only one of the important common. She enjoys talking about that. So my goal of that half an hour or 45 minutes conversation is to sort of give her that opportunity. She's been alone the entire day. I give her that opportunity to talk about something that she really likes, right? So I may understand sometimes, I don't understand. If I have any doubt, or I won't ask, because really I don't want to know the story or anything. The whole point is to get her to talk, and that's a very easy way to get her to talk, and we sort of go from there to various places. But I always do that, and my sons observe that. Amma, every day you discuss television serials. Wow, yeah. So, and now they also know. And I told them, pick up something daily to tell her, so that it becomes a habit and she looks forward to it. And they started telling good night in different languages. Now they have stuck to Telugu. They say Shubharatri, Mamagari Shubharatri. And if they don't say, she will look for it, and she will come to their room and say, why did you say Shubharatri to me? Manchiratri. They say Manchiratri and Shubhodayam, and all the some text like very funny greetings they have created. Where I am going with this is, I think healthy relationships have to be based on communication of some sort. Not necessarily the kind of communication that we want to have. Sometimes it is also about catering to the needs of the other person. And it is okay to do that. If in the long run that is going to create a healthy relationship, that is just fine. It is okay to indulge in some small communication that actually caters to others more than yourself. You are not going to gain much. But in the long term, a healthy relationship, ego-friendly relationship develops because that communication channel is open.
Yeah. So some people say, I have a lot of problems at home. I don't have a big house. I only have a small house. In the same house, I have to live my kids, my mother-in-law, mother, everybody. And they impose some problems on them and then get frustrated and then they break down the communications. There's one nice story Mataji told in this regard. So when Grahastha like this, who has a very small house, I'm struggling, he kind of thinks that there's a lot of big problem for me. Went to a Swamiji. Swamiji, I have a lot of problems in life. Okay, what are your problems? I have a very small house. In the same house, I, my kids, my mother-in-law, my mother, everybody can live. It's very difficult, Prabhuji, Swamiji, please help me. Oh, okay, is it like that? I said, okay, fine, let's solve your problem. I have a cow, which is a miracle cow. I will give you the cow, you take it. One condition, you have to keep the cow inside the house, not outside. That's all your problem. Okay, fine. You believe the Swamiji. Took the cow, you tied it in the middle of the house. Okay, and yeah, Swamiji, how long should I keep it? Keep it for at least 2-3 months, and then you come back to me. He said, okay, fine. He kept the cow in the middle of the house. The cow started urinating, putting cow dung everywhere, and he used to clean it every day. And there's more problem than what he has. Already house is small. This cow is added to it, and he had to clean every day. Big problem. He was waiting to see some miracle to happen. Something will happen, and my house might become big, or something will happen. He's thinking. Nothing happened like that. 3 months passed. He ran back to Swamiji. Swamiji, this cow didn't help me. Nothing happened. Swamiji thought for a while.
He says it actually aggravated my problem.
Yeah, he said it worsened my problem. The Swamiji thought for a while and just did like this and thought, oh, okay, it didn't help you. I'll give you another cow. Another miraculous cow. Probably they need to be together. That's why it didn't work. Take this other cow also. Both of them together in your house will solve your problem permanently. I guarantee this time. Took the cow, second cow. It also went inside the house. And this guy is very happy to take second cow, and he was thinking, man, in a week my problem will be solved. He tied the cow also along with the other cow. Now what happened? There are 2 cows. Both of them urinated, both of them gave cow dung. More work for this guy and the whole family. Already the house is small, with the 2 big cows in the house. Again, he waited 3 months patiently and did all the work. And then he ran back to the Swamiji after 3 months. Swamiji, what happened now? I gave you 2 cows now, what happened? No, Swamiji, worsened. They are occupying the entire house. We don't have any place to even sleep. It's become a nightmare. Please help me. And the Swamiji thought for a while. Oh, is it like that? Okay, bring both the cows back. I'll tell you another solution. And then he brought the two cows back. He said, okay, go back now and come back after a week. And then this gave the cows and went back to his house and came after a week. And he saw me, my problem is solved. I mean, how? How did it solve? I didn't give you anything else. So now my house is big. There are no cows anymore. I have a lot of space for my family. So like that, a lot of problems are self-imposed. Right? We assume, we think that, my place is small, I have this problem, I have that problem. At the end of the day, you compare and contrast with others, and that's how the wise Swamiji solved this problem. Yeah, respecting the extended family is very important to this knowledge. So, when a wife comes from the family, she comes with the relations, right? She's not coming alone. She has her parents, her cousins, her extended family. I see a lot of, in some cases, they don't respect the extended family. They always look them down. That's not good. So, as we saw in the previous slides, to maintain the vertical relation with Krishna, balancing the horizontal relations with your spouse and other connections is very, very important. Any imbalance there will break the vertical relations as well. Right? So we talked about dealing with in-laws. So Suma talked about one side of the in-laws, right? Where definitely we should sit with them, spend time with them, talk to them in their language, in what they are interested in. Because watching serials and all is, we don't watch, but it gives a connection. So don't think that, I'm wasting my time half an hour, 1 hour, materialistically doing all this. No, that enhances your relation, which gives you a peace of mind later, right? Another example is involvement in decision.
I don't want to say that you should discuss. In my case, that is one of the things that helps me. That's an
example.
We are not prescribing that.
One more thing you can try out is asking them for their opinion on things. For example, say you have cabbage and bhindi in the fridge. You can go ask your mother-in-law, what should I cook today? You only have two choices, anyway she will tell one thing. So you can cook that. So what happens in the dining table is, you cook what she asks for you to cook. Your husband says, this is not good, it will still come to your rescue. I made the decision, so eat, peacefully now, calmly. So basically like that you can smartly deal with the in-laws. The other side of this is, even in-laws should think, hey, I am done with my life, I am at almost my Vanaprastha ashram, what should I do now? Right? I should be detached. I don't want to poke nose to other things. I want to be peaceful, I want to chant, things like that. So they also need to think like that. There are two sides of the coin here. We dealing with in-laws and in-laws thinking, okay, what is my next goal of life, right? And how I want to pass the rest of my life. So both sides are very important, is what Mataji says, because it's very important for both of the sides. So now we finished G, it's R. G is goals, R is respect. I, we are coming to third one, I is integrity. What is integrity, Professor Mataji? What is integrity means? Yes, no, that's correct. We do what we say.
And you do that when nobody is watching.
Very good. Yes, we do that even when nobody is watching. So a lot of people want something in a way, but they don't want to really, do it that way. One example is this. Everyone knows Shravan Kumar's story. Shravan Kumar. He took care of his parents very well, right? How many people want a kid like Shravan Kumar? Raise your hands. A son like Shravan Kumar. Come on, don't be shy, right? And how many people want a husband like Shravan Kumar? Very good, Mataji, very good. So basically, what happens there? When it comes to having a husband like Shravan Kumar, because he's going to devote a lot of time to parents, right? Which is a little bit on the off side of it. A lot of people say, I want a son like Shravan Kumar because he wants to take care of me. But the other side, when he's taking care of parents, the wife might feel, he's devoting a lot of time to his parents and not caring about me. So what we say, we should really implement that too, right? It should be same inside and outside. That's what it means. There is an important saying. What you are doing is so loud in my ears that I can't hear what you are saying. Right? What you are doing is so loud in my ears that I can't hear you what you are saying. What that means? Your actions are stronger than what you are saying. This is very simple to understand, Prabhuji and Mataji. Say in your house, you are telling your kids, you are instructing them, don't watch TV. But when your friend comes from outside, you are telling the same kid, I don't want to be disturbed, go watch TV. He's confused, right? He's confused completely. Just now you said you have to study a lot, you're spending a lot of time on TV, don't watch TV, and when some friend comes and you want to speak to them, you're telling no, go watch TV for some time. That's not what should be. You should say inside and outside. And kids learn from seeing what you do, not by seeing what you say. 100% for sure. When you chant, they chant. When you go to the temple, they go. When you take them to the temple, they'll come. You can't tell, you go read Bhagavad Gita, you go learn Bhagavad Gita, you don't come. They won't do that. So it's very important what you are inside and outside being same. So I also is importance. So integrity and importance. There are a lot of instances that we go through in your life. Sometimes we get a lot of importance done, like especially when there's a little fight. Either husband or wife bring back the old memories. That day you did that. That instance you did that. And my husband also might say, that day you did this. There is something called MRP, folks. You know that, right? Maximum retail price. When you go buy a commodity in a grocery shop, it writes 30 rupees. You should never pay more than that. Just like the actual instance of an MRP. You should give importance as much as it needs. And you'll be done with it. You should not prolong it and accumulate it. That's very, very important. You should be free from that accumulation. Small instance happened long time back. Done, closed, washed and rinsed and kept aside. You should move on your life. Right? Only as much as it is needed, use it and then move on. So give importance to only things that are really important. Like other ones, keep it aside. It's very important. Erase it and move on. Don't accumulate. That's what is importance is important. It is one of the things in the life. Only give importance to things that really are needed.
Yeah. So this is also something that has really helped me. Every day we begin as a new day. So say the previous day there was some articulation, some argument. We just leave it and next day is a fresh day. This is a very good policy to apply both in personal and professional life. This is my own personal learning. And the first person to rinse and throw away should be myself. That's how I if the other person wants to prolong also, by looking at how I just kept it aside, maybe the other person will be motivated to do the same. If they are not, they will do it eventually, not just the next day, but it is fine. So this is something that really has helped. And Mataji also says, Mataji also says that it's very important to sort of end the day, especially for arguments and articulations, to just wrap the day with it and just leave it there and not take it to the next day.
Another point I want to make here is you should play with each other's strengths and you should keep aside their weaknesses. Everybody has a strengths and weaknesses, right? One Prabhuji might be very good at finances and he takes care of the family, he knows how much is coming, how much is going. Mataji might not know any of that. That's fine. You should not always harp on that, saying that you don't know this, you don't know that. That is his strength, let him play with that. Mataji is strong probably in teaching the kids, right? She is very good at teaching the kids and the kids learn from her a lot. We should bank on that, right? So in our house, very funny incident happen all the time. The moment we're all going out, there will be a scream from inside. I don't know where my phone is. Is it familiar to many people? So Mataji says, I don't know where my phone is. You know what happens? 5 people jump in. Myself, Amrit, my mother, everybody. So endlessly searching the whole house for the phone. She's very forgetful. She has two phones on the top of it for our misfortune, and we keep searching for the phones. Half of our life is searching for our phones only. But that's a funny incident for us. We don't really mind that, but that's fine. She's forgetful on that, but she's not forgetful on making make sure that there is a breakfast, lunch, dinner for us. And she's good at other things, right? She forgets those what is our problem, or we are gone case, right? So play with each other's strengths and weaknesses. Don't keep telling that you don't know this, you don't do this, you don't know that. Like, be complementary to each other. That's very, very important.
So when we were newly married, I want a very clean kitchen in the morning when I enter into it. What it requires us to do is to clean the kitchen before we sleep, right? And both of us cannot work after dinner. So this is the problem. I tried a lot to actually make him come and help me clean the kitchen because even I didn't want to do it. But after 10 or 15 years, I gave up. Because that is something that he really dislikes doing it much more than I do. Because I have a requirement in the morning to enter a clean kitchen, at least I have some small motivation to do it. But he doesn't even have it. For him, it's like, yo, what is there? It's a messy in the morning. I'll clean in the morning. So then I thought, okay, this battle is not worth fighting. So I left it there. And even today, I don't even expect him to do anything from behind me. Usually, he helps you throughout the day. He helps in the kitchen without asking. But once the dinner is done, that's it. I cannot expect anything from him. And I just made peace with him.
So I also is introspection, right? So this is where we're going to end here because we still have many letters. This is a long lecture, we cannot go on for this. So the last slide of this session today is introspection. So everybody, the takeaway for all of you, here is pause and think. Just go back and introspect yourselves. Am I having a hassle-free professional life? Am I having a hassle-free professional life for my spiritual journey? Am I being peaceful in my spiritual journey? If not, what is causing the problems? You have seen all the symptoms, some kind of suggestions, solutions, and all that stuff. So, pause and think, right?
So I would even go ahead and say, remove the grihastha from that sentence and say, am I having a hassle-free life? Everywhere, work, home, doesn't matter. Because already there are so many impediments, and I'm talking about myself and take what applies to you. There are so many impediments to practicing pure, strong, committed devotional service. It is very, very difficult in this time and age. Chanting with a lot of focus, finishing the chanting, doing the readings that we have to do. Making sure that everybody else in the family is also, especially kids, we are paying attention and they are doing. Because there is work at home, there is work in office, there is work everywhere, a lot of responsibilities. With all of these difficulties, if we add the hassles to the relationships, it even becomes more hard to carry out the devotional service responsibilities. If everything else is taken care of, there are more chances that we do devotional service with more commitment and focus. So that was the whole point we were drawing. We were looking at last week's Prabhuji's session, where he ended with respect to understanding three modes of material nature to sort of know how different people may be coming from different kinds of backgrounds, different kinds of life experiences. There might be different reasons for somebody's behavior in different manner. And knowing that really helps us to restrain and control our response, our reaction to them, right? How much ever unfavorable that situation may be. And from there we thought we sort of use that as the foundation principle and bring about a use case example of how all those principles can be applied to leading a hassle-free life, so that it is as much as smooth devotional service can be practiced.
Yeah. So that's where we are leaving you. We're pausing here. We get time to think, and we'll, if there is opportunity again comes, we'll continue with other acronyms. So that is the session today. Two more things I want to do. We should read together the ideal Grihastha chapter from chapter Canto 7. Ram Maharaj, we will read the purport of it. And after that, Asma will also do another bhajan. We'll end there. So let's read the chapter and then we'll have some question and answers. Can you pass on the mic? I want people to read one paragraph.
Ideal family life. This chapter describes the professional duties of the householders according to the time, the country, and the performer. When Yudhishthira Maharaj became very much interested about the professional duties of the householders, Nada Muni advised him that a Grihastha's first duty is to be fully dependent on Vasudeva, Krishna, and to try to satisfy him in all respects by executing one's prescribed devotional service. This devotional service will depend on the instructions of authorities and the association of devotees who are actually engaged in devotional service. The beginning of devotional service is Shravanam or hearing. One must hear from the mouth of realized souls. In this way, Grihastha's attraction to his wife and children will gradually be reduced.
One more Prabhuji or Mataji can read the next paragraph.
As per the maintenance of his family, a Grihastha, by earning what he requires for his living, must be very conscientious and must not undergo extraordinary endeavors simply to accumulate money and unnecessary increase in material comforts. Although a Grihastha should externally be very active in learning his livelihood, he should internally be situated as a fully self-realized person, without attachment for material gains. His dealings with family members or friends should be performed simply to fulfill their purpose. One should not be extravagantly engaged in this way. Instructions from family members and society should be accepted superficially, but in essence, the Grihastha should be engaged in operational duties advised by the spiritual master and the Shastra. Specifically, a Grihastha should engage in agriculture activities to earn money. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapter 44th sloka, Rishi Gorakshya Vanijyam, agriculture, cooperation and trade are special duties of Grihasthas. If by chance or by the grace of the Lord, more money comes, it should be properly engaged for the Krishna consciousness movement. One should not be eager to earn more money simply for sensual pleasure. A Grihastha should always remember that one who is endeavoring to accumulate more money than necessary is to be considered a thief and is punishable by the laws of nature.
Mataji.
A Grihastha should be very much affectionate towards one's birds and bees, treating them exactly like his own children. A Grihastha should not indulge in killing animals or birds for sense gratification. We should provide the necessities of life given to the dogs and the lowest creatures and should not exploit others for sense gratification. Actually, according to the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam, every Grihastha is a great communist who provides the means of living for everyone. Whether a Grihastha may possess, he should equally distribute to all living entities without discrimination. The best process is to distribute prasada.
One more Mataji.
A Grihastha.
Mataji, one more.
Hare Krishna. The
attached to his wife. He should engage even his own wife in serving a guest with all attention. Whatever money a grihastha accumulates by the grace of God, he should spend in 5 activities, namely worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, receiving Vaishnavas and saintly persons, distributing prasadas to the general public and to all the living entities, offering prasada to his forefathers and also offering prasada to his own son. Grahastha should always be ready to worship everyone as mentioned above. The Grahastha should not eat anything not offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita.
यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषः यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषः Continue, Mataji.
Continue, because I can't see clearly, so that the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food that is offered for sacrifice. The Grihastha should also visit the holy places of pilgrimage mentioned in the Puranas. In this way, he should fully engage in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the benefit of his family, his society, his country, and humanity at large. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry for the intervention.
Thank you. So, sir, there are 35 slokas. Let's read all the translations of each of the texts. So, one person we can go around and read it. Text 1.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaja Yudhishthira cried from Nandamuni, "O my Lord, O great sage, kindly explain how we who are staying at home without knowledge of the goal of life may also participate in liberation according to the instructions of the Vedas."
Go ahead, Mataji.
Next to Narad Muni replied, "My dear king, those who stay at home as householders must act to earn their livelihood, and instead of trying to enjoy the results of their work themselves, they should offer these results to Krishna Vasudeva. How to satisfy Vasudeva in this life can be perfectly understood through the association of great devotees of the Lord."
Text 3 and 4. Grihastha must associate again and again with saintly persons, and with great respect he must hear the nectar of activities of the Supreme Lord and his incarnations, as these activities are described in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. Thus, one should gradually become detached from affection for his wife and children, exactly like a man awakening from a tree.
Mataji. Mataji, chalo, but if you are not able to see, go to weather base, Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, 14th chapter.
I am sending the link to our group.
Next 5. While working to earn his livelihood as much as necessary to maintain body and soul together, one who is actually learned should live in human society, unattached to family affairs, although externally appearing very much attached. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Text 6. An intelligent man in human society should make his own program of activities very simple. If there are suggestions from his friends, children, parents, brothers or anyone else, he should externally agree, saying, yes, that is alright. But internally he should be determined not to create a cumbersome life in which the purpose of life will not be fulfilled.
Next. The natural products created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be utilized to maintain the bodies and souls of all living entities. The necessities of life are of 3 types:
those produced from the sky or from rainfall, from the earth, from the mines, the seas, or the winds, and from the atmosphere, that which is obtained suddenly and unexpectedly.
Text 8. One may claim proprietorship to as much wealth as required to maintain body and soul together, but one who desires proprietorship over more than that must be considered as a thief, and he deserves to be punished by loss of life.
Text 9.
One should pick animals such as deer, camels, asses, monkeys, mice, snakes, birds, and flies exactly like one's own self. How little difference there actually is between chicken and these innocent animals.
Text 10. Even if one is a householder rather than a brahmachari, a sannyasi, or a vanaprastha, one should not endeavor very hard for religiosity, economic development, or satisfaction of the self. Even in householder life, one should be satisfied to maintain body and soul together with whatever is available with minimum endeavor, according to place and time, by the grace of the Lord. One should not engage oneself in open karma.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dogs, foreign persons, and untouchables, including countries,
Chandalas.
dog eaters,
Chandalas.
chandalas, dog eaters should all be maintained with their proper necessities, which should be contributed by the householders. Even one's wife at home, with whom one is most intimately attached, should be offered for the reception of guests and people in general.
Text 12. One so seriously considers one's wife to be his own that sometimes kills himself for her or kills others, including even his parents or his spiritual master or teacher. Therefore, if one can give up his attachment to such a wife, he conquers the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never conquered by anyone.
Text 13. Through proper deliberation, one should give up attraction to his wife's body, because that body will ultimately be transformed into small insects, stool, or ashes. What is the value of this insignificant body? How much greater is the Supreme Being, who is all-pervading, like the sky? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 14. An intelligent person should be satisfied with eating prasada, food offered to the Lord, or with performing the 5 different kinds of yajna, pancha, suna. By such activities, one can give up attachment for the body and so-called proprietorship with reference to the body. When one is able to do this, he is firmly fixed in the position of the Mahatma. Hare Krishna.
Text 15. Every day one should worship the Supreme Being, who is situated in everyone's heart. And on this basis, one should separately worship the demigods, the saintly persons, ordinary human beings, and living entities, one's forefathers and one's self. In this way, one is able to worship the Supreme Being in the core of everyone's heart.
Text 16. When one is enriched with wealth and knowledge which are under his full control and by means of which he can perform yajna or please Supreme Personality of Godhead, one must perform sacrifices, offering oblations to the fire according to the direction of the Shastras. In this way, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Text 17. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the enjoyer of sacrificial offerings. And although his lordship gives the oblations offered in the fire, my dear king, he is still more satisfied when nice food made of grains and ghee is offered to him through the mouths of qualified brahmanas.
Text 18. Therefore, my dear king, first offer prasad to the brahmanas and the demigods, and after some questioning, giving them you may distribute prasad to all other living entities according to your ability. In this way, you will be able to worship all living entities, all other persons, the supreme living entity, that is every living entity.
Text 19. A Brahmana who is sufficiently rich must offer oblations to the forefathers during the dark moon fortnight in the latter part of the month of the Bhadra. Similarly, he should offer oblations to the relatives of the forefathers during the Mahalaya ceremonies in the month of Ashwin.
Hare Krishna. One should perform the Sabha Shakti on the Makar Sankranti, the day when the
Karkataka Sankranti.
One should also perform the Shakti on the Ashu Sankranti and the Solar Sankranti. The Yoga Pata on the day in which three Tithis are conjoined. During the days of the day that the moon are the sun on the 12th lunar day and the Savana Nakshatra, one should perform the ceremony on the Akshaya day on the 9th lunar day of the right fortnight of the month of on the 4th the winter season and cool season on the 7th lunar day of the right fortnight of the month of Maga during the conjunction of Maga Nakshatra full moon day. And on the days when the moon is not visible, they are not quite visible. Like the days are conjoined with the nakshatra from which the names of certain months are derived. One should also perform the Shraddha ceremony on the 12th lunar day when it is in connection with any of the nakshatras named Mahamada, Shravana, Uttara, Falguna, Uttara, Shada, Uttara. Again, one should perform this ceremony when the 11th lunar day is the connection with either Uttara Falguni, Uttara, Shada, or Uttara, Bhadrapada. Finally, one should perform this ceremony on days conjoined with one's own birth star, Janma Nakshatra, or with Shravana Nakshatra.
Text 24. All of these seasonal times are considered extremely auspicious for humanity, and as such times one should perform all auspicious activities, for by such activities a human being attains success in his short duration of life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 25. During these periods of seasonal change, if one baths in the Ganges, in the Yamuna, or in another sacred place, if one chants, offers fire sacrifices, or executes vows, or if one worships the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the forefathers, the demigods, and the living entities in general, whatever he gives in charity yields a permanently beneficial result.
Text 26. O King Yudhishthira, at the time prescribed for deformity, ritualistic ceremonies for oneself, one's wife, or one's child, or during funeral ceremonies and annual death ceremonies, one must perform the auspicious ceremonies mentioned above in order to flourish in fruitive activities. Hare Krishna.
Next will be Sankirti. Gachibowli Bhakti Center. Now I shall describe the places where religious performances may be well executed. Any place where a Vaishnava is available in an extreme place for all auspicious activities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the support of this entire cosmic manifestation with all its moving and non-moving, living entities, and the people where the deity of the Lord is installed is a most sacred place. Furthermore, places where learned phenomena observe basic principles by means of austerity, education, and mercy are also most auspicious.
Text 29. Auspicious indeed are the places where there is a temple of the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, in which he is duly worshipped, and also the places where there flow the celebrated sacred rivers mentioned in the Puranas, the anything spiritual done there is so.
The second is like Pushkara, and places where saintly persons live like Kurukshetra, Gaya, Kulashrama, Naimisharanya, the banks of the Pampu rivers, Setubandha, Pravasa, Dwarka, Varanasi, Mathura, Pampa, Bindu Sarovara, Badrika Ashram, Narana Ashram, the place where the Nanda river flows, the place where Lord Ramachandra and Mother Sita took shelter, such as Chitrakoot and also the hilly tracts of land known as Mahendra and Malaya. All of these are to be considered most pious and sacred. Similarly, places outside India are centers of Krishna consciousness movement, and where Radha Krishna deities are worshipped must all be visited and worshipped by those who want to be spiritually advanced. One who intends to advance his spiritual life may visit all these places and perform ritualistic ceremonies to get results 1,000 of times better than the results of the same activities performed in any other places.
O king of the earth, it has been decided by expert learned scholars that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, in whom all that is moving or non-moving within this universe is resting and from whom everything is coming, is the best person to whom everything must be given.
Text 35. O King Yudhishthira, the demigods, many great sages and saints, including even the four sons of Lord Brahma, and I myself are present at your Rajasuya sacrifice ceremony. But when there was a question of who should be the first person worshipped, everyone decided upon Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person.
Text 36. The entire universe, which is full of living entities, is like a tree whose root is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Achyuta, Krishna. Therefore, simply by worshipping Lord Krishna, one can worship all living entities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has created many residential places like the bodies of human beings, animals, birds, saints, and the demigods. All these beautiful bodily forms the Lord resides with the living beings as Paramatma. Thus is also known as Shastra.
Next 38. O King Yudhishthira, the super soul in everybody gives intelligence to the individual soul according to his capacity for understanding. Therefore, the super soul is the chief within the body. The super soul is manifested to the individual soul according to the individual's comparative development of knowledge, austerity, penance, and so on.
Text 39. My dear king, when great sages and scientific persons saw mutually disrespectful dealings at the beginning of Treta Yuga, deity worship in the temples was introduced with all paraphernalia.
Hare Krishna, text 40. Sometimes a neophyte devotee offers all the paraphernalia for worshipping the Lord, and he actually worships the Lord as the deity. But because he is envious of the authorized devotees of Lord Vishnu, the Lord is never satisfied with his devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Text 41. My dear king, of all persons a qualified Brahmana must be accepted as the best within the material world, because such a Brahmana, by practicing austerity, Vedic studies and satisfaction, becomes the counterpart body of the personality, Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Hare Krishna. Next 40. My dear King Yudhishthira, the Brahmanas, especially those engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord throughout the entire world, are recognized and worshipped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the heart and the soul of all creation. The Brahmanas, by their preaching, sanctify the three worlds with the dust of their lotus feet, and thus they are worshipful even for Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for this Mataji. It's wonderful that we could read Bhagavatam today. How many people are reading Bhagavatam for the first time? Raise your hand. Very good, Mataji. Wonderful. So how did you feel? How is the feeling reading Bhagavatam for the first time? Very good. You know Bhagavatam at home, Mataji? Very good. So the right time to open it and start reading the wonderful chapter talking about ideal Grihastha life. As we said, it's an ideal Grihastha life. You know, a lot of things are in a high bar, but we should try to achieve this this bar, but this is the chapter everybody should read to attain what ideal gross life means and how to get there. So that's the end of our session. Please, any questions, supporting comments, anything you want to share, please. Anyone wants to ask any questions?
Yes. You even know that this kind of chapter is there in Bhagavad.
Hare Krishna, this is really wonderful chapter explaining the highest standards. At least I didn't even know that this kind of chapter exists.
Any other comments?
I have a question. So you mentioned that having lack of time is one of the biggest problems in Grihastha life. And you also mentioned that one should do a job so that they have enough money to function properly. And one should also be involved in devotional service 24/7. And if we are doing this, I think we ultimately come into a situation where we don't have time for each other. So if one is engaged in devotional service and not having time for family, is that okay? Is that allowed?
You and Prabhu know more than me. Prabhu, you want to say something? So Mataji, as I said, family is important, Mataji. You have to balance. That is very important. Because keep doing, you are on the devotion. Your question is, devotional service, you do that too much. You don't have time to eat or at home. It is not a right situation, right? The other person in the family is not feeling well. He or she not feeling stable. So their spiritual path is impaired, and that is not good for the other person. So anything that you do where you are not helping other person's spiritual path is not going to help the spouse as well. That's very, very important. You should not have any impediment. You should not cause any impediments. See if there is a family and the wife is feeling that husband is not devoting any time to me, is very busy with devotional activities. And there is a feeling inside that I'm not getting the time that I need. Will you be stable enough in your mind to continue your spiritual path? There are two answers, so yes and no. If you are a little bit elevated, you think, okay, fine, because our ultimate goal is to serve the Supreme Lord, and if you are in that state, that is fine. But if you are not in the state, you are feeling that there is a lack in the family life, and there is a difference between attachment and affection. Definitely, we should show affection to each other. Attachment is what is not, very conducive to your spiritual path. Affection has to be there. Because Krishna has given you that wife or husband so you can take care of them. Right? It is the property of Krishna, but you have to take care of them. Take care includes affection. Take care includes spending time. Take care includes talking. So if there is a situation where that is not happening, my advice, my practical advice myself is you create that time. Very, very important. If not, that void will not help you. Be stable in your path. That will hamper your spiritual path. It is not for you and your spouse, both. Because it's hampering your spiritual path. But if you are above that, then I'm fine. Even if my husband is not spending time with me or my wife is not spending time with me, it's okay because I have gone through that phase and I am also pursuing my path and I am a little bit detached now. Okay? My
I'm not sure if Leelanand Prabhuji is watching or not. I was trying to think of whether what would Leelanand Prabhuji have answered. And I think I have heard him answer this different kind of a question on the same lines. So I will repeat his answer. Even if it seemingly looks like we are not doing a Krishna conscious activity, but if we are doing that to support the busy activity of our spouse, it automatically becomes KC. So say you stayed back without attending the satsang because your children had an exam the next day and asked Prabhuji to come alone, that becomes a lazy activity in itself. Anything that we do to aid the spouse's Krishna consciousness activity becomes transcendental. Seemingly material, but it becomes transcendental because maintaining the home and making sure that children are attended to is also part of the responsibility, and you are just shouldering it a little more than the other person, could be wife or husband, doesn't matter, just for the time being or due to the turn of events or the kind of responsibilities that the other person has taken, then it is just fine. For a long time, if it is happening, then what Guruji was saying is true, that completely neglecting one's own devotional service to support the other persons, then it doesn't make sense.
Is asking is one of house.
Is it okay to do less because the other person is doing more? That's what she asked.
No. Not having time to spend with house.
I thought that was a woman answer I gave, but spending time with each other is one of the material activities.
You gave us a very good question. Any other question? If not, we'll wrap up. Prabhu, you want to talk about Bhadra Purnima, how we did so far? Please come here.
Hare Krishna. So we set out for a target of 500 Bhagavad Gita for donation. So right now we were around 275.
Haribo!
This is for donations, and another 12 sets for people who are taking Bhagavad home for the Bhagavad to their homes for the first time. So we are around 285, and then we are getting another 30 sets support from Bhagavad Prabhu's congregation. So that comes to around 315, 320, 350, 380 is where we stand basically. So we still have a little way to go, 280 plus basically. Sorry, 180 plus to go. So problem this year is we negotiated prices very hard. So that's the reason why we're getting a price that is not officially allowed anywhere. So this price is good because of old stock. So the old stock price is getting exhausted. Usually we thought the old stock will end by 29, but it extended till 2nd basically, till tomorrow. After that, the price for the sets are going to go by 300 basically. But nevertheless, this year we got to 320 plus, which is much higher than last year. Last year we were 309 or something, so this year it's 320 plus. And that's still a good number. So yeah, still anybody is on the fence wanting to get a Bhagavatam home, or want to gift a Bhagavatam to somebody else, or want to gift a Bhagavatam as part of this Bhadra Purnima drive for the Brahmins and temples. Yes, this is the time. Let's do it the last 2 days today. Any questions on this? There are few people who have pledged, still have not paid the money and contributed their this week. If that is the case, try to contribute as soon as possible, because unless we pay, the sets are not going to come. Because of the negotiations we had, unless we pay the money, the sets are not going to come. So we are trying to get things organized and all of course. If you have it, please try to close it. Thank you.
And Prabhuji, we crossed the last year's mark.
Yes, we crossed the last year mark.
Haribol! 3 loud Haribol! Haribol!
Haribol! This year is already 20 plus. 80%, 90% contributions have come. About 80% have come. Around 25 sets I think we get the government.
ఇది పెట్టాలి ఏదైనా పెట్టాలి భజన్ చూపించు
Hare Krishna, through this one announcement, quick announcement.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Mataji. So we have, most of you know, we have we are serving every day, 6 o'clock p.m. every day. So those who want to give a donation, it is 1600 per day. So recently, earlier Sai Prabhu used to take care of that, but since he had to go to Delhi, and so Vilan Prabhu asked me to coordinate the service. So thanks for Vilan Prabhu taking service, and we are loving Kiran Prabhu, myself, and Chiraj Prabhu, and Subha Reddy Prabhu. So we are managing this. So we created a new form. So this has already been Satsang group today. So if you have not done any payments, or if you want to do a donation for future, please use that form. And those who have contributed already, I will transfer the data from old form to this form. If you have any questions, please let us know. And please volunteer to serve. And whoever is already sponsored, so please try to come on the day you are sponsored to serve the prasad. Hare Krishna. Thank you. And also there is tomorrow there is those who are interested there is a natural farming and Varnashrama, daily Varnashrama training inauguration happening ISKCON Sadasivapet. So I have put that message a couple of days ago in the Satsang group. I will put it again today. So those who are interested can visit that tomorrow.
Dear Father of the Lord,
ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। विष्णुपाद परमस्पराजिकाचार्य श्रीवाणी भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की, प्रेम से पूर्व श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की, राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की, नवद्वीप मायापुर क्षेत्र की, पुरुषोत्तम धाम पुरी क्षेत्र की, वृंदावन धाम की, गंगे माई की, यमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की, तुलसी महारानी की, all glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glory to Sri Guru and Gauranga, Vanchakalatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyo eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरे कृष्ण।
महाप्रसादे गोविंदे,
महाप्रसादे गोविंदे,
नमो ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे,
नमो ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे,
स्वल्पपुण्यं रतं राजन्,
कल्पापुण्यं रतं राजन्,
विश्वासो नैव जायते,
शरीराय विद्या जायते,
शरीरा विद्या जाय, जड़ेन्द्रिय त्रायकाय,
सागरे
तारमती जीवति।